Nobody thought Claressa Shields, the self-proclaimed GWOAT of boxing, could ever be blindsided in her personal life. But after weeks of quiet rumors, shocking whispers, and cryptic social media posts, the truth has finally burst into the spotlight, and it's messy. It's in a move that has fans gasping. Papoose has reportedly walked away from Claressa just days after she made the ultimate declaration of love, getting his name tattooed on her body. What should have been a romantic gesture has turned into the spark for a public breakup filled with accusations, receipts, and whispers of betrayal. Friends close to the pair say the tattoo was the last straw for Pap, but not for the reasons you'd expect. Now the internet is on fire with speculation. Was this about love gone wrong? Was there a deeper play at work the whole time? Stay locked in, it's about to get wild. It started as a love story the internet didn't see coming. Papoose, the loyal king of New York hip-hop, and Claressa Shields, the undefeated powerhouse in the boxing ring. They had been spotted together a handful of times, exchanged playful banter on Instagram Lives, and even dropped cryptic matching captions. Fans ate it up, dubbing them the power couple nobody can beat. But last weekend, everything changed. Claressa took to Instagram with what she thought would be her ultimate show of commitment. The video was simple but dramatic. Her in a tattoo chair, a buzzing needle in the background. The camera panning down to reveal Papoose's name in bold black script across her ribcage, stylized with a small boxing glove at the end. The caption, "Locked in for L." Hashtag Pap and Clar. The reactions poured in immediately. Thousands of comments from fans calling it iconic and real love energy. Celebrities chimed in, rappers, athletes, influencers, all praising her bold move. Looked like the perfect public love declaration, until it didn't, single quotes T. Less than 48 hours later. A bombshell headline hit the blogs. Papoose walks away from Claressa days after tattoo reveal. At first, people assumed it was fake news. How could Pap, known for being loyal through the messiest storms, suddenly dump someone who just made such a huge romantic gesture? But by the afternoon, Pap's own Instagram made it undeniable. He posted a photo of himself alone in a dimly lit recording studio. The caption reading, "Some things are better left in the past." No tags, no names, but the timing was impossible. To ignore. The internet went into overdrive. On Twitter, threads popped up, analyzing every moment between the two in the last month. People pointed out that Pap hadn't been spotted with Claressa at her last two fights. Others noticed he had quietly untagged her in a few older photos. The clues had been there, but nobody connected the dots until now. Then came the first insider leak. An anonymous DM to a popular hip-hop gossip page claimed that Pap's decision had nothing to do with the tattoo itself, but with what led up to it. According to this source, the tattoo wasn't discussed between them beforehand. Pap allegedly found out about it the same way everyone else did. By seeing it on Instagram, that detail alone shifted the conversation. Was this a romantic surprise gone wrong? Or was it a sign that Claressa was making moves without Pap's consent, possibly to force his hand into a more public commitment? Within hours, more sources came forward. One claimed Pap had been feeling boxed in, pun intended, by the fast pace of their relationship. Another hinted that the tattoo was just the latest in a series of high-profile gestures from Claressa that Pap saw as strategic PR rather than genuine romance. By nightfall, the drama got juicier. A fan posted screenshots of an old interview where Pap talked about how he hated grand gestures that put his personal life on blast. In the same clip, he said, "Love is best kept between the people involved. The public don't need to be part of every chapter." That resurfaced, quote, lit up social media, with people calling the tattoo a deal breaker for a man with his mindset. But the narrative wasn't all sympathy for Pap. Claressa's supporters flooded timelines with posts defending her move, saying it was her body, her choice, and her way of showing love. They argued that Pap's reaction said more about him than her, that he was intimidated by her confidence and independence. Meanwhile, Claressa herself stayed publicly quiet, but her social media activity spoke volumes. She liked a post that read, "Some men can't handle a woman who's proud to claim them." And then, in the middle of the growing frenzy, another twist hit. Someone leaked a short, blurry video allegedly filmed inside a Detroit lounge just a week before the tattoo reveal. In it, Pap is seen at a table with a small group, including a woman who is definitely not Claressa. They're leaning close, talking, and at one point, she touches his arm. The video was too unclear to prove anything romantic, but in the court of public opinion, it was gasoline on the fire. Fans immediately started connecting dots, suggesting Claressa had gotten the tattoo because she suspected Pap was slipping away. And the public declaration was her way of locking him in. Others believed Pap dumped her to avoid the narrative that the tattoo had sealed them as a couple in the public's eyes. The tattoo had gone from a bold gesture to a cultural flashpoint in less than 3 days. Then came the ultimate curveball. A cryptic IG story from one of Pap's longtime friends, a fellow rapper who wrote, "When you try to play chess, remember, some of us been grandmasters for years," was accompanied by a black and white photo of a chessboard with one queen piece tipped over. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. The fan theories got darker. Was the tattoo fallout really about control, image, and ego rather than love? Did Pap see Claressa's move as a checkmate attempt in a game he wasn't playing? Or was this the surface of something deeper that neither of them wanted to admit publicly? Either way, the narrative had been set. Claressa went all in with ink, K, and Pap walked away, not gradually, not quietly, but in a way that made the whole internet feel the sting. And as the dust settled on part one of this drama, whispers of another leak began swirling, one that promised to reveal exactly what Pap said to his inner circle the night the tattoo video went live. By the next morning, the narrative had shifted from shock to pure obsession. Everyone wanted to know what went down behind the scenes the moment Papoose saw that tattoo post. Fans already had theories, some saying he must have been blindsided. Others convinced he'd known and played along until the cameras were off. But then, the first real crack in the silence appeared. A popular hip-hop gossip account, Tea and Beef Daily, posted a grainy audio clip allegedly recorded during a private after-hours studio session the night the tattoo video dropped. The audio wasn't perfect, but Pap's voice was unmistakable calm at first. But growing sharper as he spoke, "She could have called me man. She could have told me, Pap, I'm doing this. But instead, I'm finding out with the rest of the world. Nah, that's not love. That's a move." That's a headline. In the background, you could hear someone, maybe a friend or a producer, murmuring agreement. Then Pap continued, "I don't do this PR romance thing. I don't. Let people decide the narrative for me. If you love me, keep it between us. If you're trying to market it, then we in two different games." It's clip cut off there. But it was more than enough to send social media into a frenzy. For Pap's defenders, this was proof that his decision to walk away was about principle, not pettiness. For Claressa's supporters, it was evidence that Pap was overreacting, turning what they saw as a romantic surprise into a calculated power move drama. But the real heat came an hour later, when Claressa herself finally broke her silence. It started with a tweet that read, "Y'all ever love somebody so much you forget they don't love as loud as you do? My bad." Then came the Instagram stories, 3 back-to-back posts, a selfie in the boxing gym with the caption, "Still undefeated in and out the ring." A close-up of the tattoo, now slightly red from healing, with the words, "I meant it." A black screen with white text, "I don't do half love. Never will." The internet lit up. Claressa wasn't apologizing. Wasn't taking down the tattoo. If anything, she was doubling down, making it clear she stood by the gesture. Pap's reaction? Be damned then. As if things weren't messy enough, another insider leak hit the web. This time it was a series of text screenshots allegedly between Pap and a longtime friend. The messages, which have not been confirmed but looked all too believable, showed Pap venting about feeling cornered into being more public than he wanted to be. One text read, "She's amazing in a lot of ways, but every move gotta be big. Every move gotta be for the crowd. That's not me." In another, he wrote, "I was ready to chill and see where we go. Now I'm locked into an image I didn't agree to." By now, the fandoms were at war. Team Pap argued that boundaries matter, and that surprises, especially permanent ones like tattoos, should be discussed. Team Claressa argued that Pap was making excuses and that dumping someone over a tattoo proved he wasn't serious from the start. But then came the real curveball. A Detroit-based nightlife promoter posted a TikTok claiming they'd been in the same club as Pap just a week before the tattoo reveal, and he wasn't alone. According to the promoter, Pap was with a woman who definitely wasn't Claressa, and they were looking way too cozy in the VIP section. The video was dark and blurry, but the outline and mannerisms sure looked like Pap. The comment section exploded with accusations. Suddenly, the conversation shifted. Was the tattoo just the excuse Pap needed to end things before someone else exposed him? In a late-night live, Claressa didn't name names, but said something that poured gasoline on the fire. Funny how some people claim they hate attention until they're getting it from the wrong person. Then it's just fine. Comments went wild. She's talking about the VIP girl. She knows this is about to blow up. That same night, an unexpected betrayal surfaced. One of Claressa's own friends, who had been posting supportive messages earlier in the week, suddenly switched sides. In a shady Instagram post, she wrote, "If you play games in private, don't be mad when someone calls checkmate in public." Attached, a boomerang of her sipping wine. The location tagged in Brooklyn, Papoose's home turf. Fans started speculating that Claressa's circle was divided, with some quietly siding with Pap. That theory seemed to gain steam when Pap liked the post, his first public acknowledgement of any commentary on the breakup. By morning, the mess had reached peak soap opera status. Gossip blogs were running split-screen images of Claressa's tattoo next to Pap in the studio, with headlines like, "From ink to out, how the tattoo became the breaking point and love or PR." Inside the Pap-Clar split. But just when it seemed the story had plateaued, another leak came in, and this one promised to change the whole narrative. A source claiming to be close to both parties sent a DM to a blog, saying there was security footage from the day of the tattoo reveal, footage that showed Pap getting a mysterious phone call right before Claressa's Instagram post went live. Allegedly, after hanging up, he turned to someone in the room and said, "This ain't love. This is strategy." That footage existed. It would confirm Pap felt blindsided and believed the tattoo was meant to control the public narrative of their relationship. The blog teased they'd release the video the following night, and in the meantime, they dropped one final cryptic teaser. "Y'all think you know why Pap walked away? Wait until you see who called him." By the next evening, the hype was unbearable. Every blog, gossip account, and YouTube commentator had their eyes locked on the promised security footage reveal. Fans weren't just curious. They were obsessed with one question: who called Pap in that moment? And why would it make him walk away from Claressa just after her tattoo reveal? At exactly 8 p.m., TN Beef Daily dropped the footage. The video was grainy, clearly from a small camera mounted high in the corner of a Brooklyn recording studio. Pap was sitting on a couch scrolling on his phone when it suddenly lit up with an incoming call. The name on the screen was blurred, but you could see him stare at it for a moment before answering. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, listening quietly as the voice on the other end spoke. There was no audio, but the look on his face changed from calm to tight-lipped to visibly annoyed. About 20 seconds in, his free hand started gesturing sharply, like he was pacing mentally while still seated. At one point, he spoke just 3 visible words: "I didn't know." Then came the moment that had fans screaming. Pap pulled the phone away from his ear for a second, staring at the screen like he couldn't believe who he was talking to. Then he put it back to his ear and said something that could be lip-read. Clearly, "You sure about this?" When the call ended, Pap tossed the phone onto the couch beside him and muttered, "This ain't love. This is strategy." The clip ended there, but the blog wasn't done. Seconds later, they revealed the bombshell. The person on the other end of that call was Remy Ma. The reveal broke the internet. Remy's name trended immediately, with everyone trying to figure out why she'd be calling Pap about Claressa's tattoo reveal in the first place. The blog claimed their source had filled in the blanks, allegedly. Remy had received a heads-up from someone close to Claressa that the tattoo reveal was dropping that day, and she decided to warn Pap before he saw it on Instagram. But the kicker: according to the source, she didn't just tell him about the tattoo. She also told him that Claressa had been in talks with a reality TV producer to pitch a Pap and Clara couple special, using the tattoo reveal as the big hook to sell the concept if true. This would mean the tattoo wasn't just a personal gesture, it was part of a larger, public branding move that Pap had never agreed to. The reaction was immediate. Pap's defenders felt vindicated, saying he'd been manipulated into a storyline. Claressa's defenders said even if the reality TV rumor was true, it didn't justify dumping someone over it, especially not in such a public way. But the drama didn't stop there. Within an hour, Claressa went live. And it was scorched earth. "First of all, I don't need a TV show to make money. I'm the most decorated woman in boxing. I am the show. Second of all, if you're letting your ex call you about me, maybe you ain't ready for a real woman anyway." The comments section went nuclear. Not only had Claressa confirmed that Remy had indeed called Pap, she'd also thrown direct shade, implying Pap was still taking advice from an ex about his current relationship. And then came the part that had everyone holding their breath. Claressa smirked at the camera and said, "You know what? Since everybody wants to talk about strategy, let's talk about what I know. Let's talk about who I saw Pap with in Miami last month." Before she could elaborate, her connection suddenly dropped. Some viewers thought it was technical issues. Others swore she cut it intentionally to create suspense. Either way, the damage was done. Now there was a whole new mystery layered on top of the tattoo drama. Meanwhile, Remy stayed quiet. No posts, no likes, nothing. But her silence only made the speculation worse. Some believed she'd called Pap as a genuine friend, trying to prevent him from being blindsided. Others thought she had ulterior motives, maybe wanting to keep Pap out of a high-profile romance that could overshadow his own projects. By the next morning, a new leak hit the scene. A voice note allegedly from someone in Pap's inner circle, saying, "Pap told me himself it wasn't just the tattoo, it was everything. The timing, the cameras, the fact that she knew it would force him into answering questions he wasn't ready for. He said it felt like he was being set up to commit before he'd made that decision himself." The voice note didn't name the source, but the phrasing matched Pap's known way of speaking, which only fueled the belief it was legit. The fandom split again, some calling Pap calculated for walking away before the TV deal locked him in. Others calling him cold for throwing away a relationship over what they saw as a publicity misunderstanding. And then, just when it seemed the dust might finally start to settle, Tion Beef Daily dropped one final teaser at midnight. A single, black screen with white text that read, "Tomorrow at 6 p.m., the Miami footage Claressa was talking about." The internet erupted all over again. If the footage was real, it could flip the narrative one more time, painting Pap as the one who had been playing both sides from the start. But the biggest question wasn't about what the footage would show. It was about what would happen. After it dropped, would Pap fight back? Would Remy finally speak? And most dangerously, would Claressa go for a knockout blow that could end Pap's reputation entirely? One thing was certain: when the Miami footage came out, there'd be no going back for anyone involved. And there you have it, from a bold tattoo reveal to a breakup nobody saw coming. This story has gone from romantic gesture to a tangled web of calls, leaks, and betrayals. The reveal that Remy Ma was the one who called Pap right before Claressa's post went live changes everything. Was she really protecting him? Or was she pulling him away from a relationship that was starting to define him in the public eye? Now, with Claressa's fiery live cutting off right as she hinted about Miami, the stakes have just skyrocketed. What did she see? Who was Pap with? And could that footage be the smoking gun that flips the whole narrative on its head? Tomorrow at 6 p.m., the Miami footage drops, and from what the blogs are whispering, it's not just a casual sighting. It could be the kind of receipt that not only explains why Pap left, but makes you question whether he was ever fully in from the start. So here's what I need from you. Drop your theories in the comments. Was Pap blindsided or just looking for an exit? Is Claressa the wronged lover here, or was she playing chess the whole time? And most importantly, what do you think the Miami footage will actually show? Hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and get ready. Because when that footage hits, it won't just be the next chapter in this saga. It could be the knockout punch that ends it all. This isn't over, not by a long shot.